Hello, welcome. I'm Jane Morba. Welcome to the Stellar Lux podcast. And I am so delighted to introduce a really powerful female empowerment coach to the stage. And this series of the Stellar Lux lifestyle is about women who are ambitious, business owners, marketers, transformational coaches that are impacting the world. And I'm so delighted to have met Jeri on the internet and be in her coaching space. So, welcome to this beautiful stage and this beautiful woman, Jeri Cates. She's a clarity coach, a transformational coach, and facilitator, and a heart-based hypnotherapist. She's devoted to helping women rediscover their worth, claim their power, create lives of clarity and confidence and purpose. A former nurse practitioner, Jeri draws from lived experience, decades of service, and feminine power methodology to guide powerful inner transformation. Welcome, beautiful Jeri, to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Jane. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know we are on different coasts. I'm on the East Coast and you're on the West Coast, and um, this is really neat because I used to live on the West Coast, so I always like really hanging out with women on the West Coast. Really, it brings me back to the circle, to the ritual and the circle and transformation. So I think that's where the attraction here is. So let's have a nice conversation here, and why don't you let us know a little bit how you had a lot of lived experiences being a nurse. So you've, how was the journey into being a feminine empowerment coach for you? Was it always there, or did you come into it later in life? And tell me how you started.
More later in life, but I started out being really codependent, and that came from a childhood of being with a mom who was hard on me and always trying to be ahead of her. And then when I was 40, I became a nurse, um, and I thought it would make it better, right? I thought it would make life better. I really wasn't connected with myself, although I'd been on this journey studying metaphysics and things since I was 20. But so later I became a nurse practitioner. I thought that would do it, right? More school, more education, more responsibility. But there was something missing. Then I was off work for depression for a year at one point. And my dad sent me an email, and it was about the Feminine Power 7 week course. And I thought, this is so weird. Why is daddy sending this to me? But out of anywhere in the world. Anyway, I took that course. Now I was in a deep depression. I had been off for a few months, and it got me in this space of connecting with myself and accepting myself and finding my voice and connecting with others in ways I had never done before. So, really powerful. But that's how my feminine power journey started. Since then, I've gotten involved in hypnotherapy. And last year, now that was in 2012 that I first did a feminine power course. In 2019, I certified for the coaching certification. Last year, I went in for a deep dive. Now they're called Women Centered Coaching Institute, Feminine Power. Claire Zaman is the founder, and it's her research that backs this stuff. But it was an incredible adventure to see how her coaching had shifted and become even more powerful. And the facilitation, the idea of being in group work, we learn from each other.
Uh,
We and there's nothing like being in a group with a safe contain that's set as a safe container. And there's ways to do that where you feel safe, you feel seen, you feel heard, you feel valued. We can take those feelings into our life, right? It's
yeah.
a bridge to it. But yeah, that's how my feminine power started.
That sounds great. And in this, and I'm familiar with Claire Zammit. I've kind of stepped into her ecosystem, and that's why I was so attracted to your work because from the in, you know, folks, you definitely go into the secrets of the Empowered Women Facebook group that Jeri has because she has a lot of free material there and also paid programs um, that help women. What you do, I feel, is you're infused in the language of the feminine transformation that's not out there maybe in the masculine framework. So it's a feminine power uh, transformation matrix. And look, if you're not aware, right, if we sabotage ourselves, and we're not like speaking up for what we want, so we're not like going after our desires, there is some things that need to get broken down, right?
Mhm.
And I think you hold the space for that, to change people's lives. So you're on the pulse of what women need right now. It's an identity transformation. Talk about maybe some of the things that happen, like not having visibility and not feeling enough. These things come up. You're probably prepared for that.
Oh,
And
you mean in clients not being enough? That's the
yeah,
biggest one. And there's three. You mentioned the identity matrix.
yeah.
So this is a book that Claire um, wrote, and we give it comes with the Feminine Power program. But the false identities, there's 21 false identities, and it's the things like I'm not enough, I'm invisible, I'm alone. And those are the three, actually the three most common ones. And when we live in that, we you can't have something greater because the two can't occupy the same space.
Mm,
But identifying what that is, that specific thing that holds you back, and I have ways to help you do that. It's so empowering because then you know what to unpack.
mm,
What's my new story going to be? It's going to, and that's really how you discover the new story is see where you're struggling. And what's the opposite of that?
oh,
Right?
yeah, right.
What would be the opposite of that for you?
Mm.
You know, um, yeah.
Yeah, like there was one aspect that I was deep diving, I was binging on your content, and I love your workshops and so forth. And it was if you're rarely creating a structure for the fulfillment of your life. And I thought about that and I said, whoa, I definitely can up level my time management, my calendar, if I'm not calendaring and making a structure for the bigger vision, for my big vision, what's blocking me from that? It's not just putting it on the calendar. There's got to be some belief system that
Right.
I'm not going for my desire. Do you see what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
And so
well,
often
obviously you are the
yeah.
coach, right? Mm,
My stuff. So often we don't even give ourselves permission to have our desire.
mm,
Right. We get beat down so much of not, you know, in that sense of I'm not enough and over giving and not taking care of ourselves or putting ourselves last or putting ourselves never. Or,
mm.
we get into these patterns that um that stop us. They halt us. They halt us.
They halt us and then we don't even speak up and even make the request because many times when you make the request it might be answered. So it's like a muscle.
Mhm.
And I think the container you get people, women to the fire. And I think women need this. We have to stop coddling ourselves, right? Oh, it's okay. That's again the people pleasing conversation. Mm.
Well, it's to the fire in the most courageous way. But and we're to the fire. We're not in the fire. We're glowing at the sun, right? It's a circle. When you said that, I saw a circle of women around the fire who had come to be open and vulnerable and safe, be seen and heard and valued. We just don't have that enough. But getting them there, a lot of it has to do with creating a safe space for it,
Mm. I
right?
right. No, and
Right.
like I feel like this echoes for me too.
Mhm.
I need this type of transformational coaching in my life too. I've grew up with people pleasing my mother, just others' needs are more important. Now in midlife, I have more space, more awareness, more freedom to make better decisions about I'm the top priority, right? And so, but it is an ongoing practice, and it's not like, oh, I just got there, I'm done. No, it's
I'm still working on it.
yeah.
I'm still doing things every day. And I
Mm.
like to share this
Okay.
because this is how I live. And this is from Catherine Woodward Thomas. She did a course called Unbreakable Bonds and was one a special through feminine power. But she said, take care of yourself well enough so that you feed others from your overflow.
Boom.
It
Boom.
landed with me
Landed.
too.
That
So
lands.
then throughout the day, I'm asking myself, I'm holding myself in that space already, right? And
Yeah.
then I'm asking myself, okay, Jeri, what do you need? I mean, I'll be working all day and then and go, you need to go to the gym. You just
Mm,
need to go change your space and go to the gym. Go take care of you.
mm,
You know, and here's another one. And I show up as a woman who's loved.
mm.
Because when you show up as a woman who's loved, you carry yourself differently. You take better
Oh.
care of yourself because you feel loved and valued.
Mm,
So it helps you value yourself. Yeah,
yeah.
show up as a
Yeah.
woman who's loved. I used to tell the women in
Mm,
the weight loss clinic I worked. It was my last job as a nurse practitioner. Show up as a woman who's loved, and they would always like straighten their crown, you know, kind of sit up real tall and go, yeah, yeah, right.
yeah.
So those are the kind of shifts we're talking about. And you're right; it's like a muscle. We go
Mm,
and experience it, and then we build a bridge to it
mm.
because we know it's there.
Right. And I think the gift that you present and have is that you have a roadmap because you did the work with Claire Zammit in the transformational matrix for women. Women are we're coached differently. We're not going to crush it. We're in process, and you hold the container because you have ongoing Q&As and workshops, and every month you have a theme because you're aligned to the ecosystem of the feminine empowerment transformational
Mm.
platform. So, what other so what other issues do you think are transformational success stories that you've had with women that you know, how much time do you really need for to have a transformation, like a couple of weeks or like a 12 weeks? So, you know, what do you feel is important for, you know,
Well,
women?
I have a couple of examples.
Okay.
One is me doing a hypnotherapy, and this young lady could only drive so far. She'd get about 30 miles away from here. She lived in the Bay Area. She'd get 30 miles away, and someone would have to come and escort her up to her sister's house. She couldn't drive it alone. She would be panic stricken.
Mm,
About a month after her hypnotherapy, her sister called me to tell me that she came up all by herself.
mm,
She was so surprised she had arrived. And the other one was a client that I'm actually working with now. We're almost done with her time. But it was, we did a discovery call, and those are my free calls. That's my little transformation call, give you an opportunity to experience transformation and what's possible. And then we did the discovery call. She hired me. So we look at 8 key areas of your life, your relationships, your communication,
mm,
your purpose, you know, so there's all these areas and you rate them as far as satisfaction. And we have a discussion about it. And then you get clarity about what you're going to work on. You get really clear about what's in season in your life right now.
mm.
So we
Yeah.
had those 2 sessions.
Mm,
She comes to the third session. She goes, Jeri, before we start, I have to tell you something. Now, her issue was she would shudder her voice. She would get nervous, even in a conversation with a family member. She would shudder her voice. It was out of not feeling confident. She said, my dad called me and he told me that he noticed a difference in my voice, that I seemed different. So these were two visits together. She was attributing it to me. It's
Mm,
her transformation. Yes.
right.
But yeah, I get to be the guide for something like that. You
Yes.
know,
It
yeah.
is it is so powerful. You must wake up every day and know you're transforming the energy of women on the planet. Like you must feel so on purpose and you know your own journey is part of this, right? The people pleasing. You took back your power and you're going to demand women to put in the time and the energy to take back their power and confidence because the results are going to be explosive, right? They're going to have better businesses, better relationships, more confidence, be able to drive more distances, maybe go on a trip by themselves because you're going to have this framework within, get on stages and so much more. I think
Yeah,
it's
and
powerful.
sorry, we're
No,
looking at it's very personalized. We're looking at what's important. What do we need? What do you want to work on? And that's why the discovery session. But um the feminine power program is comprehensive and really deep.
okay.
So I like to set up my one-on-ones where they're having 2 week intervals, but on those weeks in between, we have a 15-minute chat to make sure they're on course.
Yeah.
You know, and to have that support and know that you can reach out to someone. I had my client now, one of my clients, she's listening to module 5, and it's about your radiance, your feminine radiance. And she goes, just heard module 5. Wow.
Oh, who doesn't want more, feminine radiance? Not the external validation, but the internal flame, the internal self-love piece, that we deserve to take up space. And I think the visibility piece is in there. It's really beautiful. It's really powerful. Mhm.
Like to, share a little bit about
Okay.
the Feminine Power program.
Please do. Yes.
So it's a 7 week program, but there's like 9 weeks of things in there. There's more in there. But the idea is three power centers: connection to self, connection to spirit, and connection to others.
Okay.
And connection to self is like we were talking about the identity matrix. I'm not enough. I'm alone. I'm not lovable. All of those things. That's where we work on that because those are all shame based. I'm not alone. I mean, all of those are shame based, and we help you forge a deeper connection with yourself. The second one is connection to spirit. And I got to tell you, for the longest time, I was even afraid to say spirit because I was worried, I didn't know how people would receive it or whatever. Now I don't care. Connection to spirit. And the thing is that when we're disconnected from spirit, there's lack and limitation. So this is a way of stepping into a partnership with spirit, God, the universe, whatever it is for you, seeing yourself as a co-creator in your life with this spiritual presence. And that's so powerful. And the third one is connection to others, because for so many reasons we isolate and then we long for connection. It's like a paradox. We long for connection, but we push people away. And we do it for all kinds of reasons. One lady, her dad left in the therapy session, her dad left. The memory was her father leaving, and she felt responsible for that. The thing she told herself was, people leave or people leave me. And the behavior that came out of, she was super independent, which made her not so great about trusting other people.
Mhm.
When we come to this realization, when she came to this realization, it's like naming it. And then she could unpack it and create the relationships she wanted, right? Because in
Right.
that part, we're working on power partnerships,
Wow.
evolutionary partnerships.
Yeah, a whole different way of consciously living in the world. Not the old paradigms. These are big leaps and a lot more fun, right? Like we have a lot more joy with ourselves, connecting to spirit, being in power partners with other people and in our projects as entrepreneurs and women who are, movers and shakers in the world that's like feeling like we're lit up and on purpose. So you're really holding such incredible power and space and for other women in a huge way and humbly, like in a humble way, not in a ego way. Like this is the word is, I guess, waking up every day feeling lit up about your work.
Well, I just love the look on someone's face, on a woman's face, when she realizes that she matters and she counts. And that goes back to me being a nurse, because believe me, I was coaching as a nurse. I was empowering. I called them empowerment workshops before. Had to explain what empowerment meant. But when they realize they matter and they count,
Mm,
it's lifting them up. Now there's a new perspective they can operate from,
mm, yeah,
you
that's
know.
that's
And
great.
and it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have my challenges. I wake up in a bad mood, or like this morning, I had some things on my heart, but I did things to nurture me. It's like, okay, Jeri, what are we doing next?
Yeah.
Right? How are we taking care of ourselves this morning?
Mm,
Right? So there are tools, and I'm about creating new healthy habits. And
mm,
they are tools and habits and ways of being that last you a lifetime. And here's the beauty of it. Not always only does it empower you, it empowers the people around you, not just the women,
oh,
everybody.
mm,
Because when you change, the people around you change.
mm,
And you show up as a when you have some involvement with feminine power, you show up as a leader. And maybe you're a leader in your family or with a group of people or on a larger scale.
right.
You're showing up as a leader. We're lighting the way to a more peaceful, loving, caring, powerful existence.
Oh, I love that. I really love that because you're taking a stand for yourself and for other people, and you're demanding boundaries, how people will evolve around you. And, everyone has their own challenges and story and living maybe in their different parts of their existence and maybe in their inner child or so many things, right? But as long as a feminine empowerment leader, you're standing and you're doing the work and you're evolving, it must feel like, oh, I can be more of a leader. I can take up more space. I can have more people follow me. I know what I'm talking about. And
Mm,
that's powerful because that means can be more revenue. You're growing your business. You're, leading a life on your terms.
you're expanding your reach.
Yeah.
You're making a difference. Really just depends on what it is you're looking for in your life, what you're
Okay.
creating,
Right.
what's important.
Right.
And
Like,
that's the beauty of the
yeah.
discovery call, because we go through all these areas, and you actually get a handout. As soon as we you sign up, I send you a questionnaire, and it's going to take you a day, or I want you to take a day or two to fill it out, get it back to me, and book your appointment for your discovery session, because I want them to take some time to think about it. Um, Sometimes people struggle with it because it's hard to look at yourself, but I'm there to support.
Yeah.
I'm there to support.
Right. I mean, here I am. I'm speaking. A lot of my conversation is about maybe things that are on my mind, my goals, revenue, business, reach. Maybe somebody else that comes to you might just want to have better communication, better relationships, So you're saying your clarity call will help identify what what your needs are and then which part of the mandala you're going to start working on first and go on that journey. So I
Yeah,
think,
we
right?
always start with the next step.
Okay.
I'm going to leave you with, you're going to come up with some ideas. I'm going to support that, right? We identify the problem. We identify where you want to be. We identify what's in the way, and then come up with ideas of what to do about it. And it's such a beautiful process,
Yeah.
because you're doing all the doing. I'm asking the questions, but you're doing all I'm not telling you what to do, of course, right?
Yeah.
pulling it from you or asking you the questions that help it flow,
Right, right. You
right?
you you have a framework. You're the coach, you're the mentor, and you're taking people on that clarity soul call that you're doing. So anybody who's listening to this and our journey here in our podcast, definitely take Jeri up on her offer of doing a free discovery call. Go into the secrets of the empowered woman, and get
Secrets
the
to
secrets.
becoming an empowered woman,
Yeah, I love that word to be in becoming the
to
empowered
becoming,
woman.
yeah,
And,
secrets to becoming
and I
an
think
empowered woman.
you have those guides in there. I don't know if Facebook does that or you know,
Yeah, I have some guides in there.
yeah,
And what
so
I'm going to do is Facebook's taking all that away. So I'm uploading them to Google. I mean, yeah, Google, to YouTube.
YouTube.
And
Okay.
I'm going to put them in the group I think I'm going to put it in the guide section with the YouTube in there,
Okay.
so that that's the way I can still put them in the group. So, but
Yeah.
right now there's over 50 meditations, over 50 talks.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I highly recommend people to find you and get into that group. So, and to get your soul clarity call with you, Jeri.
mhm.
I have a question I'd like to ask you. It's kind of a wild card question before we, wrap up. I could speak to you for hours, but
Well, can
we're
I
gonna.
share with how to do the clarity call?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Go to claritywithjerry.com.
Okay. Go to
And
claritywithjerry.com. Okay.
and I have a free gift,
Mhm.
the confidence catalyst, and you go to jericates.com/confidence.
Okay, there it is.
Okay.
Oh, there it
Okay.
is,
Now ask
everybody.
your
Just go
question.
to the
Sorry.
replay
I
if you
just
need to
didn't.
hear that. That's beautiful. And I highly recommend this. If now I've been asking people this question is more of a wild card question. If you and I were masterminding anywhere in the world and to do a retreat by you and by ourselves or with other women, where would you take us?
I would take you to Cancun. I had this lovely experience last year. And the first night we were in the rainforest. I mean, it's between the hotels, but water, beavers, and some other animals. But they played music for us. They played a singing bowl. I was there meditating, and I felt like she moved the bowl right next to my head. I could feel myself elevating above my body. There was an opportunity to have dinner on the beach at sunset. It was amazing. And there was this sweat house
Mm.
where we all a sweat lodge.
Sounds
It was
amazing.
amazing. It
And
was
to do
amazing.
do ritual there for
Hmm.
the transformation process. I'm there. I am totally in. I know the Cancun sand is divine,
Mm.
and that whole kind of a lot of
Yeah,
ritual energy in that area. So I take your invite. I would love to go,
it's
Jeri, with you.
beautiful.
Beautiful. Please let us know on that next retreat so we can all have that opportunity. Um, how else? I mean, okay, well, you mentioned how to find you, how to build your clarity call, everybody. Um, and you'll also get access to the Facebook group, and then I think you're off and running, right? Mm,
Yeah, you can Google that Facebook group. For some reason, that group comes up on Google. It's about 5 years old.
yeah.
Secrets to becoming an empowered woman, and it'll take you right there. Or look for it in Facebook.
Yeah, and
But yes,
you have a lot of women in there. Yes, you've built this tribe. You've really had have been seeding this vision for a long time, and I'm so happy to be in the ecosystem with you and the transformational feminine matrix. And the clear exam at work, it's really powerful. But now you are the framework to guide women. I'm so excited. What's next? Anything else that's really coming down the pike for you? That's next.
I'm starting a newsletter and it's called Coming Home. It's about coming home to yourself. So it'll have a lot of my feminine power teachings and life experiences. And it's just a quick read.
Yeah.
maybe 10 minutes, something like that, a few short things, just something once a week to inspire you, touch you deeply, awaken you, um, help you reflect. Yeah.
Oh, and that'll be
So,
once a week. So that's what people can expect. That sounds really
yeah,
great. Yeah, well, we
yeah.
do need to own our list, right? We don't know what's going to happen in social media, and I think that's a really great plan to grow your business like that. Well,
Yeah, I love to write. So,
good,
yeah.
good. And be in the body, right? A lot of things are
And be
informed
in the
through the
body.
body.
In power centers, we drop down to our hip area. And if you can just, close your eyes for a moment, take a big breath, and then move your awareness down to your hips and feel what that feels like. It's a
Mhm.
very grounded place to move through your day from.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah,
Well, this
yeah.
has
Thank
been a
you.
delight over there in California, here on the East Coast. I always have a little beautiful spot in my life for California, part of my transformational journey. So thank you so much. And Jerry, this has been a real honor. Part of the Stellar Lux Life, top 10 women that I'm inviting into this series. So I'm really glad we have the quintessential feminine empowerment coach right here, Jeri Cates. Thank you.
Thank you so
Mhm.
much.
All
Thank you.
right. Okay, folks, there you have it. Definitely access the materials and you're going to be on your way. You're in good hands. All right. Thank you.